potatoes and onions came in 50-pound bags, and they were loose, and you had to bag them. And I guess I was about 9 years old when I started doing that.
I like to go back in the back and hide back here in the boxes. And so when people were taking their stock out, all of a sudden I'd pop out, pop up on them, and you know, I was probably 8 or 9 years old then. I had to find a different niche, and so I went to various food shows around the country. I went to various upscale markets around the country to get a feel for what else was out there that maybe we could do. So I brought that in here, and it's been successful to the diversity of our clientele. You know, you see the carpenters coming in every day buying, you know, imported items that we carry, from caviar to you know, prime meats and everything, because they know they're going to get the quality that they want, and they don't mind spending the money.
The broader picture of the competition coming from areas that traditionally weren't competitors, like the chain drugstores, you know, which are getting more and more into the food business. Home Depot selling food. So there's always that challenge, but that's what makes it interesting. That gives us a reason to get up in the morning.
I was gone for 10 years before I moved back, and I remember I was living in Washington, D.C. at the time, calling my folks and say, it's time for me to come home, you have a job for me. And at that time my dad just had some cataract surgery. He says, well, the only thing I really need is someone to learn to cut meat. I said, okay, I'll try that. And he and a couple of other meat cutters at the time trained me. There's a difference between a meat cutter and a butcher, like between an artist and a painter. And a meat cutter is the artist.
A former employee that had two comments that he made about the store. One is that working at Fausto's was a rite of passage when you moved to Key West. And two was that he told me that we should have an alumni association. And there's been times when, instead of terminating somebody's employment or firing them, we invite them to join the alumni association, which is a lot nicer, a lot smoother way of putting it. The more unique you can make your business, the better chances you have of surviving. And understanding that taking care of the locals year-round is what keeps you in business year-round. And using the season, if you will, as the gravy, but you got to still have the potatoes.
Right after Easter, generally it falls off for 3 or 4 months, and trying to maintain your staff and your business and everything like that during that period of time. That's a challenge. And you have to remember that in those months of July, August, and September, when the only people here are the locals, you have to remember that you have to cater to them.
We might disagree about something we're doing in the store, but that disagreement can't carry on outside of the store. And we come to some kind of, sometimes it's a compromise. One or the other of us, you know, throws out the white flag, but we just work together, because the ultimate goal is to keep the business going. And that's the overriding criteria that we use. Yes, we can disagree on something, but is it, in the long run, what is best for the business?
Well, right after that song came out, we had t-shirts that said, going down to Fausto's to get some chocolate milk. You know, we had to take advantage of it somehow. The Parrot Heads, when they come to town for their meeting of the minds, they used to have these scavenger hunts. And part of the scavenger hunt was a question about, what did Jimmy Buffett go to Fausto's to get? You have to get that item. You know, so they would come in looking for the chocolate milk. I always had to store a few extra cases of chocolate milk when the Parrot Heads were in town. I can't imagine him thinking that I'm starting something that 100 years from now is still going to be around. But for the 100th, I think we have to do something really spectacular. You know, I would like to maybe close the street off and have some grand event for the community and for thanking the community over the years for supporting our family business.